Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest news in the game industry. And today was surprisingly a very busy day for gaming news. The big one though is that it appears Resident Evil 3 had a big leak today, so it's starting to look like all those rumors about it showing up at the Game Awards show is true after all. Also, PlayStation is celebrating a record-breaking achievement, while Xbox is celebrating a Black Friday victory, and even Persona 5 revealed some cool new information today. And there is a few other things to talk about as well, including Super Mario Maker 2 and a possible new Nier game, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's talk about this Resident Evil 3 leak. As we talked about this last week on the channel, there has been a rumor floating around that a Resident Evil 3 remake will be showing up at the Game Awards show on December 12th. But I know there has been some speculation within the gaming community over this and if it was actually true or not, mainly because Resident Evil 2 Remake just came out earlier this year. So some people wasn't really expecting another one to be announced so soon. I mean, this is a big AAA game regardless of if it's a remake or not, so how could they pump out another big AAA remake so soon? Well, if the rumors weren't already convincing enough before, Resident Evil 3 covers, as well as a Resident Evil spin-off by the name of Resistance, popped up on PSN earlier today. Resistance is a multiplayer spin-off similar to something like Dead by Daylight from my understanding, but by this point, I don't think anybody can deny the Resident Evil 3 remake rumors anymore. It's pretty clear and cut by this point that Resident Evil 3 Remake is definitely happening, so the main question now will be, when will they show it, and when does it release? Though the original rumor did point to a 2020 release date, and as I alluded to earlier, this will almost certainly be at the Game Awards show. For the moment though, we at least have the cover art, which is already very telling because we get to see how the characters have been redesigned, and I've actually been seeing a lot of people kind of upset with Jill Valentine's new redesign. Though I do think it's important to mention that a part of this may be due to character likeness, so they couldn't stick with the old character design and had to redesign it for that reason. It's all part of licensing agreements and whatnot. Just an unfortunate part of business, to be honest. Nonetheless though, I do think the new Jill looks really good, but I do understand that those who grew up playing this game may not be thrilled with the change, but we also need to remember that Capcom has been doing an excellent job with these remakes. The first Resident Evil was received really well, and then Resident Evil 2 Remake was far better than I think any of us could have imagined. It's even up for the Game of the Year right now, and let's let that sink in for a moment. A remake of a game that was originally made in 1998 is nominated for a Game of the Year in 2019. That not only speaks volumes for the quality of this legendary game, but how good of a job Capcom did with the remake. So with that said, I don't think we really need to worry about Resident Evil 3. I imagine it will also be a great game, though I believe they will make a few changes here and there like they did with the second game. Either way though, Resident Evil 3 is coming and it looks to be coming fast. What I'm most curious about myself is, will it be an imminent release or will this be closer to the next generation of consoles? What do you think? Do you think Resident Evil 3 will be releasing soon, or do you think we're still a ways away? Also, what do you think about Jill Valentine's redesign? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on, PlayStation made the Guinness World Records as PlayStation has become the best-selling home console brand of all time. Now that is a sentence for you because, of course, we aren't including handheld consoles, or otherwise Nintendo would be in this conversation. Nonetheless, this is a huge achievement, and I think a big congrats are in order for Sony here. I mean, they did sell 450 million consoles. That is just fantastic news, so congratulations to Sony. They really have done a phenomenal job with PlayStation, and I expect they will continue that success onward with the PlayStation 5. The one issue I do have with this record though, and this is just a small little gripe, but they did use VG Charts data. I'm not really sure the reason why they would do that because there's got to be more accurate data somewhere out there. But either way, this is a true statement. They have sold more than 450 million consoles, so even if the numbers on the record isn't 100% accurate, it's still a true statement. Now, Xbox also had some good news in terms of sales, as we now have a more complete picture of Black Friday sales for the UK, and Xbox came out on top, nabbing first place with over 100,000 consoles sold in the UK alone. This was closely followed by Nintendo and the Switch, and then after that PlayStation 4 sold 60,000 units themselves. Overall, great numbers for everybody, but the Xbox Digital Edition really seems to be putting in the work this holiday. Last week we started to hear how the Digital Edition was selling a lot thanks to the new $150 deal, and it looks like it has been a big success ever since. This deal kind of makes me wonder, what will Xbox do next generation, as we're seeing right now how successful the Xbox Digital Edition is? Could we possibly see a digital Xbox next generation to lower the price? Maybe not at launch per se, but I could definitely see it happening at some point. I mean, more and more people are going all digital with their games, and I also think it pairs very nicely with Xbox Game Pass. Really, these sales validate Xbox having a digital console, and it goes to show you how important having a price advantage is. So what do you think? Would you like to see Xbox have a digital console next generation? Let me know. And speaking of sales numbers, Persona 5 has officially unveiled how much it sold, which is a whopping 3.2 million copies, with 400,000 Persona 5 Royal copies sold in Japan. This is huge for a turn-based JRPG game, no understatement there. That is actually ridiculously high, and it also puts the Persona franchise at 11.1 million copies sold, and I think it's very well deserved. You often see this franchise get a lot of praise, and I think it's for good reason. I'm not really a huge fan of Persona 5 to be honest, but I do consider Persona 4 to be an all-time great JRPG, so congrats to Atlus and Sega for this achievement. And there is more good news for you Persona 5 fans, as the Royal Edition has officially got a release date for March 31st in the West. And it includes a limited edition version with a metal case and a Joker mask collectible that you can display on a stand. It's not overly expensive at $90, and chances are if you're a big enough fan to replay this game for another 100 hours, chances are you might be a big enough fan to pay the extra $30 for a limited edition. Either way, pretty cool. That wasn't the only big Japanese game that had some buzz around it today though, and I find this next one to be very interesting because Square Enix opened up a near 10th anniversary website. Now before we speculate too much here, it could be possible that Square Enix is just trying to sell merchandise, but if that were the case, I would find that odd since Square Enix already has their own store to do that. With that said, fans are now speculating that a possible Nier Remaster may be coming soon for the 10th anniversary, which would be amazing. I love Nier Automata and would love to see the original Nier get remastered. Some people even consider it to be better than Automata in terms of its story, so hopefully something comes out of this. Do remember though, this is only speculation, so it could just be merchandise. I'm not really sure, but it's at least worth noting. Nintendo also got to announce a JRPG game today as well, so apparently it's just a good day for Japanese games altogether. This one though is a bit odd, and I'll explain why in just a moment, but The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch spring of 2020, and a little later on for Japan. The thing is, Trails of Cold Steel is a great franchise, so this is awesome it's coming to the Switch, but as I just said, it's a great franchise. Trails of Cold Steel is a total of 3 games that is all connected, so the Switch only getting the 3rd game is a bit of a bummer. I do hope it gets the other 2 games as well, because more people deserve to get to play this franchise, but hey, at least it's a start. It kind of reminds me of Kingdom Hearts 3 coming to Xbox One, and now a year later it gets the Kingdom Hearts Collection. Some of these publishers make some really odd decisions, I feel. It just seems like a no-brainer to put the entire franchise on the console, though I do understand that may involve a little bit extra work. Now the last thing I want to talk about is Mario Maker 2, because Nintendo announced a new update which has a lot of people really excited. So do you remember how in Zelda Link's Awakening they kind of had that creative mode that most people didn't really care for? Well, this time around, Nintendo did the Zelda games justice by putting Link into Super Mario Maker 2, and it's not just some kind of skin. He has the entire kit from Zelda games, including his arrows, sword dash, bombs, etc. I mean, this actually looks really good, and I think it will give Mario Maker 2 a whole new dimension, and it may even draw in a new crowd to the game. Sure, I would still like to see a good Zelda creator for isometric Zelda games, but nonetheless, this is still very cool. Anyways though, that is it for this video, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that bell notification and subscribe button. Peace out.